With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to another exciting Wednesday night here for the PRL NASCAR Truck Series and Xfinity Series. We're live here from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I'm Terry Radford, joined alongside Derek Watson. And Derek, we saw an absolute barn burner last week, and we're expecting another one here tonight.
We definitely are. Two different types of racing, pardon me, but I think the same amount of emotions and anger may be used at the end of this race as well.
I think it's going to be really fun to see what the Magic Mile presents here this afternoon. And, well, there's a lot that could be said about what New Hampshire is going to bring. Lobsters, chaos, and a lot of hurt feelings. We're just getting started. Not too long here, but we must thank the people who make this possible. We're going to start with Advanced Sim Racing. It's owned and operated by passionate sim racers. Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the most sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulating cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision 5 coupon code. Then you got RaceSpot Sim Racing. RaceSpot offers mid and high-end button boxes for the sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceSpotSimRacing.com and get 5% off using the Precision 5 coupon code. And the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with the Butt Kicker. And don't forget that the Butt Kicker also sponsors the World of Outlaw Butt Kicker Late Model Series every Monday night for the next 9 weeks on iRacing.com and Twitch. Then you got Mechasim Hardware. Mechasim Hardware is a small company from the Czech Republic, and their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. If you're looking for high-end pedal sets, handbrakes, or sequential shifting, that's easy for me to say, right? Visit Mechasim Hardware's eShop right now to get up to speed. Muradness is a lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit Muradness.com. And new to the series, but has been a very quick favorite early on, Mr. Hedge Sim Racing Photography. It is Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography captures your finest, proudest, or, well, for me last season, the worst moments from your hobby and up to 8K resolution. It is a great addition to any sim room, and you can visit them on Facebook at Mr. Hedge Sim Racing Photography, and you can look for them on Instagram, and you can follow along with them on PRL's Twitter as well. We're just getting started here, and we'll cut through all this. We'll look at the schedule for the rest of the time, and Derek, I'm going to take a breath and let you go over the schedule.
That's fine by me, Terry. Yeah, we're at New Hampshire this week. Then we got an exciting run coming up with Pocono, Richmond, Michigan, and a couple others to really round off the season. So we're now into that oval part of the season, but we're in one of the only weeks of the season, Terry, where both races, truck and Xfinity, are at the same track on the same night.
going to be very fun to see what New Hampshire brings with the tricky triangle coming up right after it. But we'll look over there at our individual series championships points for the trucks, where you have Dallas Sullivan leading by a decent-ish margin over Brendan Chatley, with Kevin McGarvey, Matthew Karakoff, Atkins Schmidt, Dice, Panzarella, Geyer, and Stacy Hunter just a little far back. Maybe about 2 races or so will separate them. And then our team championship points here with Whataback Established Traffic Control, 3 points ahead of Loaded Dice Racing, who's starting to catch their momentum after a very shaky start to the season with Riding Shotgun Motorsports Outlaws, DDI Motorsports Every Day, DDI All Day, Team CPR, Black Flag Racing, Love Racing, Consult Info, yeah, I'll go with that one, and Bull Creek Racing back there, probably about 3-4 races behind in the points. Phew. All of that to get to, well, we get to track. We get to cars on the track here as qualifying is underway here for our Truck Series drivers. We got the number 11 on the speedway right at the moment. We'll see what this driver can do.
So an interesting thing we already saw out of the 11 here, Terry, the way they're running this lap, this is Alex Hillman here, getting started here. I believe this is going to be lap number 1 for Alex. So this is like almost, a lot of drivers would call this a super speedway that isn't, which is kind of funny since we just did Atlanta last week in the Xfinities. But this track is fast. This is not, you know, one of the shorter or one of the slower short tracks where you feel like you barely get anywhere. You can get up to speed here. And so a lot of drivers want to rev up that engine on the first lap here and then maybe take the shorter line around in the second. So here comes Hillman out of 4. Nice run. Going to get up against the wall here. Now I think he'll cut down in the corners this time, Terry.
Yeah, we'll see right here. I like that you brought that up, that this is one of those racetracks that you do want to run just a little bit there on the outside before you take the faster lap around. But right now, it would be Kevin McGarvey who sets the fast time. Hillman will be 4th. So look there, he kind of missed 3 just a little bit. You don't want to be outside those 3 grooves to go up there to the outside wall. I think he's actually going to slow down here. He does. He slows down on that second lap. So lap 1 was faster, but right now it's a 30.208 from Kevin McGarvey on 1 lap. That has him on the bowl.
Now we're going to take a look at Garrett Austin here and watch him go around the track here in this beautiful 34 machine. We're right on board here for a second. You see on the first lap here, actually this is his first green flag lap. He's been right up high. Get that engine revved up a little bit so you can get a good run down this front straight. Now I'm suspecting he'll be probably near the second set of hash lines in this corner, Terry.
Yeah, he hops down.
It is.
I saw it in the fixed races this week that I was not competing in, but I was watching. There were some drivers that found grip on the apron, and I thought that was interesting that they would dive it in, kind of get to that second one, and they would shift into third and let the truck just plan its way down. But this looks like a pretty decent lap here for Garrett Austin. If he could get on the throttle off exit. What's he going to throw down here? Oh, 2/10 faster.
So what that tells me about the setup, and I've not had a chance to run it yet this week, it's my goal for tomorrow is to sit up the trucks and play around, is that some drivers must think the setup is tight, Terry. If you're using the apron for speed and grip, you must think the truck is tight and you want to loosen it up. If you have a loose truck and you're on the apron, you're my new hero. Like, that's not how that's supposed to work.
And Brett Adams here on the clock. See what the number 23 can put down. Can he dethrone our current pole sitter? And he can. He's 0.4 of a second off. That's going to put him 16th as Hayden Palumbo is going to jump up to the 5th place spot. And you see right here with Dalton Geyer, can he improve on his time? As his last time by was a 30.522. Oh. He got really low there. Can he improve here? Yes, he can. But where does that put Dalton Geyer? 4th for the 365. That's a nice lap.
I'll tell you, Terry, I was concerned about his time there, watching him get out of that corner. You really want to track this thing out to the wall if you can. That was a rough exit, in my opinion. And I don't know here, but this guy's going to be wrapping up the run here. About a minute left in qualifying. So, Terry, this is a newish track on the NASCAR circuit. I mean, in all things considered, it was opened in 1990, and it's one of the tracks that's not lost a NASCAR date. since it opened. It's always had at least one NASCAR date. Of course, there's other tracks in the service that have lost a date or gained a date or went a couple years without a race. This track has hosted a race every year since 1990 in the NASCAR Top Series.
Well, I saw you have an interesting note. Derek actually does all the notes for these broadcasts, wildly enough. A moose?
Oh yeah, let's take a look at the moose. This is the mascot for the track. This is Milo the Moose. There he is. This was actually from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway Twitter. He's just lounging around. So it's kind of funny because you don't get a moose for winning the race; you get a lobster. But yeah, they have a moose for the mascot.
Yeah, I kind of would have thought it would have been the lobster walking around, with the whatever.
So I have to tell you real quick, as we come out of this, it's fine. But when our producer Dustin was setting this up earlier, he said to me the caption for this picture will be "My Nightmare Tonight."
Very good. Well, we're going to get ready to go racing here as the grid is ready to go for us. And we're going to change things up a little bit. Starting on the pole here this afternoon, Kevin McGarvey, Alan Dice, Cody Atkins, Dalton Geyer, P4. Right at that top 6, Barrett Hilton and Hayden Palumbo.
And pick up in P7 here. That's me, Kevin McGarvey, with, that's Steve Loving, with Adam Schoen on the outside. Stacey Hunter in 9th and Alex Hillman in 10th. With Matthew Karakoff in 11th, and then Dallas Sullivan, your point leader, back in P12, Terry.
You got Timothy Emmanuel back there in 13th, Thomas Brindle, Richard Pruitt, Brett Adams, Dylan Schmidt, and Stephen Kirby, your top 18.
Go back to P19 here. It's going to be Garrett Austin with Zach Panzarella on the outside. Philip Beaver with Ryan Traver, in 22nd. And then 23rd and 24th is Ronald Overbay and CM, Don't Call Me Punk, Pennington.
25th, going to find Robert Goff with Tom Amacy. Oliver Goff back there one spot behind with Edward Peltz, Colton Easterday, and Zachary Austin did not put a time down. Those are your final 2 starters in your 30-truck field as the grid is starting to grid up. We'll see if Zachary Austin does get on the racetrack. I do not see him gridded on the racing surface. He's not lit up in my timing. But, man, this is going to be fun. As it always is here at New Hampshire, 29 officially are scored, taking time.
You know what? That doesn't sound like a lot, but for a track of this size, Terry, 29 is plenty. There'll be plenty of action all night long with 29 vehicles on this track.
We're happy that you're spending your Wednesday night with us. I know there's a lot of things going on in the iRacing world. You have the Off-Road Championship that RaceSpot is producing on the iRacing channel, the Firecracker 400. Prelims are happening. I'll take part in that tomorrow night. My prelim is very, very early, about 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But tonight, it's all about the trucks in the Xfinity Series at New Hampshire. The Magic Mile Pace Sedan is down. And for the 3rd, 4th time, green flags in the air. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, we're racing. Got a spin in the back. Caution flag is out. We didn't get one lap in, and believe you see it right here. Oh, multiple trucks involved. And I believe that's the 44 Pennington, Garrett Austin, Stephen Kirby. I believe Panzarella was in that as well. Tom Amacy might have been in that. That was a lot going on in less than half a lap.
A lot going on. I would love to see that again. I think there was a bump there involved that maybe caused some of that, but that's going to be one of the keys to victory here tonight, Terry, is not just how well you brake in a corner, but can you figure out where the guy in front of you brakes in a corner? Because you don't want to be using the chrome horn all night. That's not the way to win this race. Let's see it again here.
And here we go with this. It starts with Richard Pruitt. It looks like
the 109 just came down. Didn't know he was. Maybe he didn't know they were 3 wide. I'm not sure.
And Kirby comes down, and around he goes. We'll take a look at another angle of this replay here and kind of see, because from my vantage point, it looked like that the 109 came down and it was 2 people meeting in the middle.
From that one angle there, it looked like maybe they were 3 wide. Maybe Kirby didn't know they were 3 wide. Let's see it again here. You know, I'm not going to factor that in. I don't think 3 wide or not. That was I don't know. It's a momentary lack of judgment that happens in a race car sometimes, Terry. You know, maybe you miss your spotter call or what happens, and I don't know.
Well, a lot of people on pit road right here. Ryan Traver is in pit road. Zach Panzarella, Tom Macy. You see him coming off of pit road here, trying to avoid the pace car from putting him a lap down. These drivers will go a lap down. As you see, the pace car has went around.
It might beat it off pit road.
They very rarely beat that, or they very closely beat him off of pit road as the 247. That's the 109 of Kirby, who was already 1 lap down. Finally exited the pit lane. But wow, what a start.
So listen, here's the thing. Not that a wreck is ever a good thing, but it's better that it happens to you at New Hampshire, Terry. This is really short track racing. We kind of talked about it kind of being a super speedway, but you can have body damage here and be okay. This is not, you know, Atlanta, Talladega, Daytona, where it matters. These guys still have a shot at a good finish here.
They still have a shot, and early on, you'll get the straightaway speed right there, but the corners, very long, very sweeping corners. You have a lot that you can make up there, but you can lose just a little bit down the straightaway. We'll see how that factors in here as Alan Dice is going to get ready to lead them back to the green. This will be lap number 5. Green flags in the air. The 5 car, or the 5 truck, holds Kevin McGarvey, Cody Atkins, and Dalton Geyer. Your top 4, Peyton Palumbo, just now cracking into the 5th. Single file top 3 side by side with Palumbo and Dalton Geyer for the 4th place position. Those two have been fighting since the green flag came back out, and it's 2 by 2 all the way back through the rest of the field, where you find Barron Hilton, you find Alex Hillman back here in the 9th place position, and the fight's just begun here in the mid pack, where, well, all the action tends to be at every single week.
Yeah, the mid pack is where it's at. There's a lot of side by side racing happening here. A lot of guys trying to find that line to see where they want to be and what advantages they can find. In a short track like this, look at how far wide he is there, Terry. I can tell you that is not the line.
It was definitely not the line. It's Alex Hillman. Yeah, Alex Hillman looked for a spot, and Steve Loving, who has a little bit of damage there on the right side of that truck, where he was able to get over there and get a position. A winner so far in this season at Chicagoland Speedway last week. Got a win. Pit strategy played out to perfection, and now he's going to try to hunt down Adam Shane and Barron Hilton there for a 6th place position.
Side racing. Brett Adams, 2023. He's so smooth right there. He's exactly fighting hard. You know, a lot of them out of this. Timothy Manuel. Oh, there's never mind. 109 Kirby, another down on the bottom. Shot there. Man, what? All kidding aside, that's impressive. Those two guys door slammed. They didn't touch. They slammed. And everyone kept moving.
Yeah, you got Thomas Brindle right there. Richard Pruitt trying to get in there, and it looked like Brindle almost missed the corner completely. Almost put himself in the back bumper of Timothy Emmanuel, and now that's going to allow the 24 of Pruitt to get underneath that 22 of Brindle. Now here comes, that's going to be Dylan Schmidt. That's going to come back behind him with Ronald Overbay in the number 98, trying to put up there and put up a fight. It's right inside the top 15. I mean, the battles have really only been going on in this portion of the racetrack for the 22 of Brindle. Just a little bit of a bobble. Kind of loses you a ton of spots as we go up here for the battle for the race lead. McGarvey and Alan Dice putting it all on the line this early.
Well, the idea here is to find maybe just a slightly different line and learn some things right now. We have about 33 and a half minutes left in the race, or some laps left to go, depending on how this race turns out. So treat this as a learning moment here. You know, obviously you got some practice in. You practiced with your team this week, but now you can start to learn what move can I make that may matter. You know, with 33 minutes to go, there's a lot of people who believe at a short track that you want to be in second place for the last couple of laps. You want to make the move and not have the move made on you, Terry.
You don't want to put yourself in a precarious position, but right here at this moment, it's all about track position for a lot of these drivers. It has not went their way, as you see the battle back here. That's one of the golf boys trying to fight it out side by side. That would be Oliver and Robert trying to fight for a spot here on the racetrack. And multiple grooves here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We'll see the Xfinity drivers up next. But with 32 minutes to go, it's all about these truck guys. Dylan Schmidt just trying to work himself into the top 15. He got past Thomas Brendel. He's worked his way up so far, got to the back bumper of Richard Pruitt, but can't seem to make the pass at single file throughout the field.
Yeah, that's what will happen at this track, Terry. There are multiple grooves, but inevitably down the straights, everyone wants to be up against the wall and track out as far as possible to pick up that speed. So that's what sort of is going to happen. We will be single file down the straights, and you'll see some different grooves in play down through the corners.
We'll see if any of these drivers can make some time up here. I think for a lot of these guys, they're going to need or want a caution. Not too sure if all of that is going to work for them, if they're going to be able to get their spot, but we'll hope to see if any single one of these drivers can make a pass. You see them starting to fan out down the straightaway here. You see the 23. That's Brett Adams. We go back here to Richard Pruitt.
Now, one of the ways you will make a pass here, Terry, when you're in single file like this is, and we kind of saw it there in that shot for a second with that bright green truck, he did not track out. That was Thomas and Massey, I think is who that was. He did not track out all the way to the wall the last time. And look at him there again. Someone will get to the outside of you and pick up that speed in that draft if you do that consistently. That is one way probably the only way you'll get past them straightaways around here.
We're on board with the 39 machine, Timothy Emmanuel. Back there trying to track down Brett Adams. It's a Black Flag Racing driver, and running the same line in these trucks tends to burn the right front off if you can't get back on the throttle and you have to roll further than you want to. We'll see if that allows the 24 Pruitt to put himself up there in the 14th position, or is it going to cause the stack up right here as you take a look back there just a little bit further. It's the 15 of Robert Goff having a really good battle with Philip Beaver and Oliver Goff all in a row, trying to see who can get the best position. Is now Goff on Goff crimes. One on the top, one on the bottom.
You know, something I noticed here, if we go back to that Timothy Emmanuel conversation that we were having a minute ago, how low he was exiting that corner. Now he's not, of course, because I'm going to talk about it. But how low he's exiting that corner, Terry, when those tires were off, if he continues that, he's likely to loop that truck around based upon the transition. Oh, hold on. Got to pass you by the 24. Emmanuel's not going to want to give it up here, but he's going to have to, I think. But any driver who, if you try to ride the bottom of the corners, if every 2 or 4 out and you don't track out, that transition change of the banking will probably let you loop the car around once you wear off these tires, I would think.
And right at this moment, you see Dylan Schmidt getting by. Thomas Brendel is right there in the Flamin' Hot Cheetos machine, trying to get around. The fight's been going on back here for the 14th position. That's where the main focal point of this is. You're not missing anything for the race lead. It's 0.6 of a second between Dyson McGarvey. Cody Atkins still sitting third. Dalton Geyer still sitting fifth. Hayden Palumbo still sitting fourth. Your top 5 has been single file and consistent. We'll see what the long run brings. You take a look right here at Adam Shane trying to get the spot from Baron Hilton in the number 75 or 79 truck. Trying to go up there with his Ford F-150 and take the spot from the Tropicana number 1 of Baron Hilton. And for Baron Hilton this season, it has been it's been a good one so far for the driver of the 1. And he came into this season, not sure if he was necessarily thinking he was going to have these type of runs, but he's been up front. We've talked about him every week.
Yeah, we really have. It feels like that one machine has been up there every week on the leaderboard, just in position. Not closed the deal yet, but definitely getting there in that moment. Working here at about the 27th minute starting here, or left to go, pardon me. And Alan Dice is really this, leading the field, Terry, but something different from our other truck races this season. There's a couple differences so far, but our leader is still within range here of Kevin McGarvey and others. This is not so far the walkaway in the truck series that we've been used to yet.
And you see back here, just a little further, we have Matthew Karakoff, Dallas Sullivan starting to get a fight there from Stacy Hunter on the outside, and Alex Hillman all in this frame where the 46 of Sullivan has the 9th place position. Hillman's going to try to go up there and put a fight for it, and that's going to allow all these other drivers of Brett Adams. But we talked about this a little bit earlier with Hillman, that outside line, and now Matthew Karakoff's trying it as well. That's not doing any good.
No, and here's what happens in that lane, Terry, especially if you drift up there mid-corner. Bump there, but what happens mid-corner, especially if you drift up and you get that high, is you're off the gas because you're doing everything possible not to hit the wall. And so even though you're riding wider, you're just losing all your speed, and then you have no momentum off of the corner, and you get past pretty easily.
Don't want to get past this early on, and I still say early because we're 23 laps into this race. We have 26 minutes that's going to be going here. And now you see the fight still going on here. Dylan Schmidt, Timothy Manuel for the battle for the 15th spot going down. And for right at the moment, it's crazy to think that these drivers have not left each other's side at all in this entire race. Even after the caution, all these drivers are still doing the exact same thing they were doing on that initial lap. Nobody's really given an inch. They're pretty much just fighting right back the moment they get past.
And, knock on wood, Terry, and I will because I'm going to say this out loud. So far, obviously the road course race had its own problems. This is the cleanest oval race we've had in our 4 races so far. There's just the one caution to start the race. We've seen a couple bumps. We've seen a door bang. But this is a very, very clean race on a racetrack that's known to have some tempers, some beats, some bangs, and some 4-letter words thrown around.
A couple people getting told they were number 1 in the process, but there's Brett Adams sitting in your 10th place position. He got passed not too long ago by Dallas Sullivan, and here's the fight with Matthew Karakoff. He's back here with Stacy Hunter. He's back here with Richard Pruitt. All of these drivers on top of a blanket. And there's the apron starting to come into play. That's the 92 of Smith. He got to the apron of this, got to the grass, was able to find just a little bit of grip off the exit of the corner. And he's going to sail it in there. That thing does not look fun.
No, it doesn't. And I'm really trying to watch that move because I think with someone on your outside, I don't know what the benefit is. The only way that move could work, in my opinion, Terry, would be if you could track the vehicle way to the outside of the corner afterwards and pick up the speed. But with the 24 and the 39 and others out there, I don't see how that works. I'm flabbergasted, honestly, that that's even a move. That's your word of the night, by the way, flabbergasted.
You beat me to the punch. I was about to ask if that was the
Is there any chance you could spell it?
FLABB GA.
No.
Oh, ER.
Yes.
GASTED.
Yeah, this is other. You know what? You're ready for the.
I missed the R. I
missed
missed the R, didn't I? Flabbergasted. There's a battle for second going on as my Tennessee education is allowing me to try to spell here this afternoon. Hayden Palumbo's worked his way up from the 4th place position to get around Dalton Geyer, to get around Cody Atkins, get around McGarvey as well to put himself P2. We'll see if Hayden Palumbo, whose last lap time was mirroring an identical to the race leader of Alan Dice. We'll see if this pass for position gets him up to this fight with the driver from Loaded Dice Racing. But now it looks to seem if Dalton Geyer starting to put it on Kevin McGarvey as well. McGarvey's starting to slide back. His lap times have fell off a ton, making almost 2 seconds. And he has fell off. His last lap was a 32.0. Everybody else is running 31.5s. That time by, he puts a 31.9 on the board. Still the slowest driver inside the top 5, but is able to maintain for the moment.
Yep, able to maintain for the moment is the right way to look at it. You know, what's so funny is we saw him almost slide up the corner. I'm assuming that's just a matter of the tires going away. You know, what can happen at a track like this, Terry, especially in the trucks, is some guys are really great for the first 20 minutes of a race, whether it be, you know, in a league race or officials, because you're burning up all your stuff. And you're hoping there's a caution, and everyone comes down and puts tires on, and you can do it again. But in a race like this, where we're halfway through, and, you know, no one's pitted, some of these guys may expose their short run versus long run skills here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Let's take a look at Steve Loving here in the 27. You can see him in a 3-car battle here with the 40. Oh, a 4-car battle, pardon me. They come down here into turn number 3.
Oh, Richard Pruitt in the wall. He had a good run going, and now he's going to fall back all the way to the 22nd position. He's going to drop a little further than that as Pruitt is dropping down the leaderboard, and he drops to 18th. Not what he wanted as, almost an issue there with Stacy Hunter and Dylan Schmidt. Notable name? Yeah, notable name we're missing tonight, Austin Hunter. Happy birthday to his mother-in-law, Kim, from the Race Spot crew over here. I was curious if they actually like their in-laws. Mine's okay. I could get better, but, you know, it happens.
Well, wait a minute. The important question, are they bringing us cake?
I don't know. I wonder if he'll ship it from Texas to us.
If it's from Texas, does it have like barbecue sauce on it by default?
I think it comes in with pulled pork. I'm pretty sure it's like a pulled pork cake. And you just have to, I think you just have, I'm not sure you can cut it with a knife, but what you can cut with a knife is the tension here on the racetrack as Alex Hillman. It's a 3-1 fight. Oh, that don't work too well at New Hampshire.
And you know what? While we're talking about cake and kind of being silly, and look at this, by the way.
Oh!
This is where, hold on. And that is that the 11? That's Hillman in the middle there, having a hard time on both angles of those corners. One's on the bottom, one on the top. I was going to say, though, for the first time, Dylan Schmidt that I've seen in a while is clear of traffic. I'm curious if he's going to continue that apron racing, and if so, how far out he could track that vehicle safely and maybe get a run out of it.
Yeah, Alex Hillman, he went right into the door of Matthew Karikoff and almost took them both out right there, but luckily for Karikoff, he was able to save it there. And now you see the fight going on. Steve Loving, Brett Adams. Loving coming off the momentum that he had to get it. You see 3 wide back here. Alex Hillman cannot catch a break. He's been pretty much a part of all of it. It's there it goes. Hillman's going around, and now the caution doesn't come out, but he's coming down pit lane.
He's had a hard time now. He's probably burned off some tires. He's frustrated. So a couple of drivers here. The 00, I don't know why. I didn't see anything. Maybe we'll look into that and see why they're pitting. But, yeah. Now, those guys will be faster than the field, Terry. The problem is that, like, without a caution, without an equalizer, they're going to be, 2 laps down, come off of pit road probably. You're not going to make that up under green flag conditions with 19 minutes left.
I'm almost positive that this is a scheduled pit stop for a lot of these drivers to come down here.
I agree that it's scheduled. Unless the gas tank has to hold out here, I would think. Like, I don't know. If you're I'm guessing Alan Dice is not on schedule. I'm guessing he's going to, I don't know.
Well, Steve Loving here fighting for that 10th place position. Stacy Hunter, Ronald Overbay all come down pit road here. They're a little further back, but you see here, I would imagine that if anybody was screaming for the caution to come out right there, because then we would have seen everybody collectively come down to pit road. it would have been the 77 of McGarvey, who has, seemingly, I'm not going to say fallen off quite a bit, but he's slipped back a ton. Once Palumbo got around him, he's kind of kept it at bay, but it's taken him a little while to get himself back into a groove here. This is a very rhythmic racetrack. That's my word for the day, rhythmic. That if you don't get it down on the initial start and get some laps under your belts, caution flags out.
Wow. Oh, the 83's in. The 83's in. The question will be, if we can find out in a second, was the 83 in before the caution? If so, that's a great move. That's going to be lead lap and probably on lead lap and in the lead. Sorry, words are hard there. Who this will hurt real quick as we find the wreck. It's going to hurt the other drivers, the 00, Hillman, and all the other drivers who have pitted here. They're now going to be stuck probably a lap or two down, depending upon where they are.
Well, the way it sits on my timing screen, Ryan Traver will be scored one lap down. The driver that no drivers benefit from this yellow flag is there's the replay of Alex Hillman going around and coming down pit road.
Yeah.
Do you think it had to do with Traver getting on pit lane potentially?
Unless he looped it or something. I don't think so, but let's see if we can find it eventually and see what happened there, because I don't know. Let's see this entry here.
There it is.
There it is.
Stacy Hunter.
Yep, right there and right in front of the field. That's going to cause it every time. Can't take any risks there. Speaking of cautions, Terry, when we got a moment, we're watching cars on pit road. Remember, in real life, this is the track that essentially spawned the whole lucky dog rule back in 2003 with the Dale Jarrett incident and racing back to the line. As Terry is taking a big deep breath there. No, this is there was a wreck in 2003 during the Cup race. Dale Jarrett was basically 45, maybe 90 degrees on the front straight, and his spotter said, "Okay, unbuckle, get loosen up, and you're done wrecking." And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh no!" And they told him to buckle back in because the field used to race back to the line to be lead lap or not lead lap. And so after that moment, NASCAR determined it was unsafe, and they invented what we now know as the lucky dog rule. And that's the day that racing kind of changed after that.
For the better or for the worse, in your opinion?
Ooh, I think for the better. I think the idea, the sort of smarmy idea of you would let a teammate by to get off a lead lap, but you would race, think of the old Jeff Gordon, Robbie Gordon incidents when they would race back to the line because they weren't teammates. I think the lucky dog adds more drama to the race than the whole just racing back to the line. I think racing back to the line was maybe more fun for the end of a race, but more dangerous and kind of silly at the same time.
I like it.
Listen, something that and NASCAR catches a lot of criticism, right? But NASCAR has done a really great job lately of, especially on the last, hey, this is the end of the race, we're coming to the checker. If the wreck is out of the way and there's no chance we're going to hit them on the cooldown lap, let's keep racing it. We'll try not to put the yellow out. That's been a big improvement over where it started.
Well, there's a lot of wave arounds, but I have an idea because I'm.
These are always scary.
Yeah. We'll talk to a driver who's not in this race but is preparing for, and he leaves us. Come back. We'll bring him back, and Joey. He keeps leaving us.
Unavailable. Yeah.
Joey, can you hear us?
So I'm getting conspiratized by one of my teammates right now.
Well, we have a question. Are you watching the truck race and anything you're learning from it?
No, because I'm currently sucking at driving the Xfinity car in New Hampshire.
I mean, you suck at driving a car every week. You get to watch the broadcast, don't you?
I can't figure out why I'm slow. That's the problem. It's one thing to know why you're slow.
It's only a 2-hour broadcast. I don't know if I have the time for this.
Start braking at the 2. Let it roll in. Once you get to the center, roll off the brake a little bit. Once you get to the arc, bring that thing from the top to the middle and get a straight exit off. But we're going to get a straight exit back to the green flag. We love you, Joey. There's your tidbits for the race. Green flags back in the air.
Maybe your Teb bits for the race.
That's my Tebin bits for the races. Alan Dice wanted the caution, I'm sure, so he didn't have to come down pit road under the green flag condition. Hayden Palumbo sits second. Now it's Kevin McGarvey sitting right there to the inside now of Dalton Geyer, who puts themselves up into the third place position. Geyer in the 365. Getting ready to see if he could pick it up as Adam Shane's put himself in this position. Oh, they're wrecking in the back. That's the 46. That's Dallas Sullivan's around.
Yeah, it's rough for Dallas. You know, he had mentioned to me in pre-race, Terry, that he didn't really get much time to practice today. Was kind of nervous about this race, especially coming in, you know, with a narrow points lead. And so it's going to get turned by the Flamin' Hot Cheetos machine.
And there's a supplemental wreck to it, too, as Matthew Karikoff went around. But no contact with anybody. Something that doesn't really happen.
No, and you know, and that's something different about that wreck too, is that the way it kind of cleaned itself here. Watch it again if we're going to get in the replay here in a minute if we can, but it kind of cleaned itself in a way that's not typical of New Hampshire. That spun him to the inside. My experience with New Hampshire, Terry, is that the way that New Hampshire cleans itself is things typically sweep up the track here at New Hampshire. I feel like every track has its own little weird self-cleaning mechanism. Some go up, some go down. You know, I think Daytona, Talladega both go up. Bristol typically goes down, I think, if I remember right. But yeah, you always want to be aware of that as a driver, so you know which way to probably go to avoid a wreck.
I'll continue our conversation here with the old Tebin. Where are you slow at?
The state of New Hampshire.
All of New Hampshire?
Yes, somewhere between like Concord and Loudon.
Where are you starting your braking point at?
Well, I watched one of your favorite setup shops, Terry, do a YouTube tutorial, and they said to brake around the 3, and now I'm starting to feel like that's a little bit too early.
Whatever that setup shop does, I would do probably the opposite of the setup.
Well, I mean, it happens. I would preferably recommend, and this is just my driving style, especially in the Xfinity car, what I learned last season from Richard Regan Jr., is you want to brake early and let the car plant. You have an opportunity at that moment. If you start braking at the 3 or the 2, you can really make the car do what it does. And I've always been a fan of New Hampshire. It's been one of my favorite places to race at. Who's winning the truck race right now? Who's in the lead? Alan Dice, Hayden Palumbo, nice. Dalton Geyer, Kevin McGarvey, and Cody Atkins is your top 5, Joey.
Well, fun Alan Dice fact. He was in the GT3 fixed race last night, and he didn't get a single second of practice in the session, and he didn't crash once. So good for him.
There you go. So, Joey, I'm going to ask you before we let you go back to your practicing. Obviously, we're in New Hampshire, and we know that sometimes we hand out lobsters for this race.
Lobster!
Are you a fan of seafood?
Absolutely not. Anything that has a whiff of the sea, not a fan. Seaweed tastes like urine. I like salt. That's about it.
Derek actually taught me a fact, and I guess I'll ask you, do you know what the mascot for New Hampshire is?
Yes, because I saw a clip of it. It's like a fake firehawk or something.
No, that's the redacted series.
Yeah, that's redacted. No. It's a moose.
A moose.
It's a moose.
And you know what the plural of moose is?
Mooses.
No, but close enough.
What's the plural of moose?
Apparently Joey doesn't know either.
Oh, poor Joey.
Well, I'm going to let you guys get back to the race. I got to go find another 10th. And
we're under caution.
Oh, well, that's probably here. Well, never mind. I guess I'll fill more time with you.
We're about to come out of caution here. So, Terry, this is the moment, I think, where now tempers are going to pick up. Not tempers, but anxiety is going to really pick up here. 1, maybe 2 more cautions is all we have left on this 9-minute clock here. So you cannot waste time in this restart. You need to be pedal down and go for it and see if you can make something stick here.
We'll see if what can stick as the pace car comes down onto the pit lane. Alan Dice in control. 8 minutes, 48 seconds remaining. It is a, what'd you call it? There'd be a temper fest here from all of these drivers. And I would imagine if Dallas Sullivan gets back to a certain driver who may have spun him here in Thomas Brendel, we might have our final caution.
Yeah, we might indeed here. But speaking of lobsters and seafood, real quick, P5 Cody Atkins. Also,
Oh, Steve Loving.
man, look at the checkup here by these guys. A lot of people on the apron, no caution. Great job by the field not to run each other over there. That's really impressive, actually. That's not facetious. That's really incredible, Terry.
Steve Loving almost took a spin there. We're wrecking once more. We'll see if that brings out the yellow flag. It does not. 3 wide with Cia Pennington, Barron, Hilton, Tom Macy to the outside and inside there. There's the 03. We got more fights going on. That's Cody Atkins, Kevin McGarvey fighting it for fourth.
There's no time to be patient here now. You're looking at, like I said, one more shot.
Caution.
There's a caution.
And there's another caution right in front of it, too. The fastest lap was set that time. Literally, that lap before the caution came out by Dalton Geyer. He was starting to trek the leader in just ever so slightly. We'll see. We should only have, after this caution, that's it. Here's the first one where the 23, Brett Adams, gets in the back bumper of Loving. They all save it. Everything was good. Everything was fine in this moment. We were all happy.
This is not the caution. This is the one we saw that was not the caution, I'm pretty sure.
And then we'll see the caution.
Yeah. Well, if you're Alan Dice right now, Terry, you must be feeling good, and you're hoping anything happens here, because right now, as every lap goes by under caution, you can't get past. And I think this is Dalton Geyer's last shot, but man, Dalton Geyer set the fastest lap of the race right before we went yellow. This is going to be an exciting finish if we can keep it green.
That's a pretty big if. I think this should be a really it'd be really, really interesting to see if we can keep it green. Here's the wreck after the wreck. Where
in the 9.
Oh, Hillman brings out the wreck, and then Matthew Karakoff just turns Easter Day and then ends his day.
That's, I don't know, man. That's the only thing I can say for Karakoff to give the benefit of the doubt, and this is what happens in iRacing, and I don't want to speak for Colton Easter Day. Sometimes when the caution comes out, drivers are a little too happy to start slowing the cars down, and that's not always necessary. Like, give some space, kind of ease out of it. Some guys are a little too happy to get on the brakes as soon as the yellow comes out, especially if the wreck is behind you, and that can mess some things up. I don't know if that happened there, but if I want to give the benefit of the doubt to Karakoff, that would be my only thought I could think of, as he just wasn't ready for Easter Day to check out that hard. Terry, a second ago, I was talking about Cody Atkins before all that chaos started. Just like Joey Tebbin, Cody says, I'm not a big lobster fan, but I'll be happy to take one home if we win today. He has an opinion here. I don't know do you like seafood, Terry? Am I the only seafood fan in the room? All right. Well,
I hate seafood.
You guys are weird people, man. You guys.
I like fried shrimp. I like fried shrimp. Anything boiled just tastes rubbery to me.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get on this then. He says controversial opinion. Steamed crabs are better than boiled crabs.
I'll agree with that. Anything boiled is trash. I don't even like boiled hot dogs. I fry them.
What about hard-boiled eggs?
I don't like them. I poach
wait, hold on, whoa, back up. Sorry. The mouth ran faster than the brain. You don't like boiled hot dogs?
Mm-mm.
You Tennessee people, man. I don't understand.
I fry them. I'm telling you, everything boiled just tastes like crap.
I'm just telling you right now, after all the controversial opinions I've heard you and Dustin Allis say in the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks of broadcasting, it is amazing they let you people vote. That's all I'm going to say. Like, it's scary they let you people vote.
Hear me out. Hear me out on this.
All right, go ahead.
Have you ever fried a hot dog? And had it on a bun?
You mean in a skillet or
yeah,
a
in
grill?
a skillet.
Or what?
In a skillet.
I have, yeah. In fact, that's how they make it at Five Guys.
So, go get a regular hot dog. Put 2 slits in it. Actually, give it just a little bit of a slit around the hot dog, and put cheese on top of it on the bun. Cheese, mustard, relish, whatever you want on it, with a little bit of chili. But actually burn those things. Don't burn them. Don't get crazy with it. But get them really nice and heat it up. You throw a little grease in the pan or whatever you want to do, and just fry that bad boy. It is probably the best tasting. It adds more flavor. Throw a little seasoning on it. Maybe a little salt, pepper, garlic, whatever you want in there. really good hot dogs. It just boiled food tastes like
All right. Well, speaking of grease and fires, it is about to heat up here, Terry. This is the last restart. Like that transition, I'm learning here.
You're paying attention. I like it.
This is the last restart we're gonna get, I think, on the clock here. So this is all gas, no brake here, to finish that whole grease analogy.
Well, and Mr. Hedge Photography better get the cameras ready because 3 minutes to go. Green flags in the air. Dalton Geyer, Alan Dice, your top two. Can Palumbo, McGarvey, can Adkins get up here and win this thing? And there goes Palumbo into the second spot, side by side with Geyer. Dalton's going to try to get the run there. Oh, he almost tagged the wall. Palumbo gets the drag race. Caution flags out, and that should do it. Robert Goff into the outside wall and smoking.
I don't know what caused that there, but that should be the end of the race here.
It's Robert Goff.
I don't see how we get back green again, Terry. So I think
that's over.
That's going to put Alan Dice as our winner here. And listen, Dalton Geyer tried there. I think he just got a little too wide, a little too fast in the corner, and drifted up too far in that moment. I'd love to see a restart again if we could see it, but I suspect he just a little too hard on the pedal and drifted. Let's see it again here. This is the yellow here. Sorry. Oh no, you can't. Oh, that's 3 wide. They're holding it pretty well. Oh no, they're not. He just to 44 to act like maybe he didn't know there was. Oh, he did someone else. All right. I was gonna say he sort of acted like he didn't know there was someone down there, Terry. I don't know what to make of that. If we could see the restart again, I want to see what happened to Dalton Geyer on the short green flag run we had. I'm curious if Dalton Geyer just got in it too hard, or what happened to him here. But that's going to put him back to third, and this would be Alan Dice's victory to claim here. Here's the restart, Terry. Walk us through it.
I think Palumbo just got into the back bumper here of Alan Dice and just shoved him clear because the green flag came out there. Dice got a really good jump. And then once they get to the straightaway, you heard Joey talked about the braking point. You can brake a little bit deeper into the corner in these trucks because of the speed that they carry. And I think Palumbo was just able to wash him up just a little bit.
The other thing I noticed too was that Geyer wasn't fully up there. I think Geyer he just mistimed the restart a little bit, I think. He wasn't really up there, even up with your leader on that restart that it looked like.
He wasn't. You saw he's back there.
Which is a hard skill, by the way. I want to point that out real quick.
Yeah, he's on the quarter panel. Like right there, he's on the quarter panel. Like that.
You need to get up there, dude.
He's side by side for second at that moment. Like he wasn't even there. So by the time Dice even took off, that just put him in a drag race with Palumbo. He gave track position away. He couldn't even get the gas down to get it. But yeah, this is race over. We'll come get the white flag next time by. They'll tie him down on the back straightaway here.
Let me share a fun fact with you, Terry. This is going to be our 4th race of the season. It'll be our 4th different pole winner and our 4th different winner of this season.
So we're 4 for 4.
Now, but coming into tonight, the other fun fact I had written down was that the 3 pole winners were not your 3 winners.
So tonight breaks that.
Tonight does break that.
Well,
compared to our Xfinity Series race we're going to do in a moment, where 2 of your 3 winners were the pole sitters in their race.
Well, and they're coming around for the final time. The race is over. We have struck midnight here. Alan Dice, in the most anticlimactic way, is going to win at New Hampshire with Hayden Palumbo, Geyer, Adkins, McGarvey, your top 5. That's your race winner for Loaded Dice Racing. Gets it done.
I mean, technically not yet. Yes, but no.
It's race over.
It is race over. I mean, unless he decides to pull Mark Martin here.
Yeah, that has happened in the PRL before.
It's happened in all across iRacing before.
If I was him, I'm not passing the pace car. Once the pace car goes down, I'm not hitting the gas. I'm just going to follow along with it.
Oh, yeah, but I meant pitting a lap early, like the Mark Martin move at Bristol.
I mean, we saw it last year, too, with a driver in the Xfinity Series actually pulled off. Elliott White gave Jeff Evans the win in Xfinity at Talladega.
Here comes your Mr. Hedge winning moment here, and Hayden Palumbo decided he wants to make it close with a good screenshot. Listen, all kidding aside, if you're not in the PRL Discord, Mr. Hedge does a cool job posting screenshots from the week in their Discord. And there were some cool screenshots from the truck race from the truck race at Mid Ohio. There it is. There you now official, Terry. Go through your spiel.
Yeah, now he gets it done. The number 5, Loaded Dice Racing, Xfinity Gaming Chevrolet gets the win. And it's crazy to think because I really didn't feel like that was. I didn't feel like that was 40 minutes.
It went by quick.
It went by pretty fast, didn't it? I would say that it did not feel like we did it for 40 minutes.
I'm gonna make a small note here that I think is gonna get fixed. I would love to get confirmation from an admin if we could find one.
Yeah, he passed the pace car. It will change. So he is the official race winner, and also for second. So their penalties do not get held here. As Alan Dice did get it done. Hayden Palumbo was second. It will read different on our unofficial race results. And for this week, it is actually unofficial because the admin team will go by and give the 5 and the driver and the 25 the points. As we're going to take a look at our finishing results. 22nd, 23rd, Alan Dice, Hayden Palumbo was your winner. Finishing 3rd was Dalton Geyer. 4th is Cody Atkins. 5th, Kevin McGarvey. 6th will be Adam Shane. 7th, Dylan Smith. 8th, Richard Pruitt. 9th will be Thomas Brindle. Your top 10 will round out with Timothy Emmanuel, with Brett Adams in 11th, and Steve Loving your top 12.
Pick up on 13th here, Oliver Goff, pardon me. Tom Amasi will be there behind him with Baron Hilton, Zach Panzarella, Ryan Traver, CM Pennington, Dallas Sullivan, your points leader coming into tonight, back there in 19th. Stacy Hunter, Colton Easterday, and then Ronald Overbay finishes 22nd, Terry.
Philip Beaver will be 23rd. 24th will go to Steve Kirby. 25th, and this will get back on track. 25th is going to be Edward Peltz. 26th, Robert Goff, Matthew Karakoff, Alex Hillman, Garrett Austin, and Zachary Austin is 30th. Your fastest lap time was set by Dalton Geyer on lap 51 with a 30.364. And oh my, we've got a race winner. And I'll tell you what, we've been shaking things up all night long. Your race winner is standing by with Derek Watson.
He certainly is. Alan Dice, congrats on the victory tonight. You went basically wire to wire in this race. How much practice did you get to do before this race began? How comfortable were you before you went green?
I came in, I guess I came in right around 7:30 and did the hour, but I like this track anyway. It just feels like if you can be smooth and save your stuff, that's the key. So I was really just trying to take it really easy, maintain the gap, not get too far out, and just maintain it. So that's what I was doing throughout that first long run, and then obviously the yellows helped at the end.
So about halfway through the race, LeBourne half, there was that yellow that came out. The thread we were following up in the booth was who would or wouldn't pit if we had stayed green all the way. So I'm going to put you on the spot. If that race had stayed green much longer, was pitting a thought in your head, or were you like, yeah, I'm first, I am where I am?
No, if after that first yellow, the early yellow, I was good on fuel. I saved fuel during that yellow, and I would have made it, so I was just going to stay out. I know that there's a huge tire gain, but I think the time lost, I don't know that you would have made that up, especially if there were a couple cautions late. So I was going to stay out regardless. That was the plan.
Fair enough. Of course, in real life in New Hampshire, they go home with a lobster for winning this race. Now, I've gotten a couple no's tonight across the PRL, but I have to ask, do you like seafood?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll take the lobster for sure.
Okay, do you have a preferred way you want to cook your lobster, or do you have a thought
we're
in mind?
steaming it. We're steaming it.
Steaming it. Okay, all right.
That's right.
Good choice.
Terry Radford's been telling me all night we don't boil things anymore. Apparently, I don't know.
Oh, we don't boil crabs and lobster or
Good job, Alan. Good job, Alan.
Right, well, listen, good job tonight. Last question next week is Pocono, the tricky triangle. So, what are your thoughts heading into Pocono?
That'll be a fun one. I'm usually pretty decent there as well, so hopefully we can go back to back, but we'll see. Hopefully just we get a good show, good point tonight.
All right, congrats on your win, and go celebrate.
Thank you.
All right, that is Alan Dice, the driver of the 5-car, Terry. He will come away with the victory.
Well, I will grab Hayden Palumbo, who did finish second here, before we grab it. And Hayden, congratulations on P2. that last restart was kind of weird. You started side by side with the driver in second. Did he just not get going?
Well, I mean, honestly, I was just trying to follow Alan, trying to stay on his bumper, and I wouldn't. To be honest with you, I didn't even notice him. I was just trying to send it and being fully prepared to send him into one if it came to it. So,
well, you had a really good run. Did you think you had anything for the 5 of Alan Dice there?
I mean, I would have liked to have seen, maybe that if we stay green there. I think I might have there. I definitely had caught him in the race and then kind of started saving, trying to see when he was going to pit and didn't want to run him over and, see what we were going to do there.
Well, Pocono is next week. The tricky triangle, you think it could be a tricky place for you to get a win?
I mean, I told some coworkers today that it was, I have a win in the next 3 races. I'm sitting on one. It's just got to be the right track and the right circumstances. So we'll see what happens.
All right, I have to ask. Seafood, big lobster guy, big shrimp person, or no?
Absolutely. The Gulf Coast is pretty much home on the weekend. So yeah, seafood, all of it.
Where do you live?
Down around about 90 miles from Panama City Beach, Florida.
Oh, fantastic. Boiled, fried, or steamed?
Yes.
All of them?
Yes.
You're a weird man, Hayden Palumbo, but congratulations on P2. We'll get you out of here. We'll see you next week at Pocono.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, sir. That's Hayden Palumbo finishing P2 here this afternoon. And we got the driver of the 365 going to be standing by with Derek Watson.
Dalton Geyer, good job. P3 tonight. So I have questions about the last couple restarts. Let's start with not the last one, but the one before. You made up some momentum there right before the yellow came out again. What were your thoughts as we went through that yellow flag process?
I was really kind of hoping it was going to go green till the end on that second to last one, because I think I kind of knew that Hayden was going to be able to do to me what I did to him on that restart, and then, well, I mean, I guess when you look at it, he did do that. So I kind of wish it would have gone green. I feel like I maybe could have gotten back to Allen, but yeah, just cards kind of fell where they did.
So then the last restart, it looks like maybe you just got caught a little off. Maybe you were a little too far back on the restart. What happened there?
Yeah, I just don't take those front row outside restarts very well. I tried as hard as I could to get a good jump on Allen's jump and try to get in there deep, but kind of tightened up on exit, and then the yellow came and Hayden already kind of had me at that point.
Fair enough. Well, the theme of the night so far has been about seafood. Of course, the winners in the real life racing get a lobster when they win the race. So the first question to ask is, are you a fan of seafood?
Yeah, I can always go for some sushi.
Okay, what about just lobster or shrimp? Thoughts as we head into the 3 turns?
Anything could happen. I think as long as me and the team, me, Zach, CM, and Dylan, we put in the practice like we did this week. I think everybody in the team has a shot at least the top 10.
Yeah, well, Dalton, good job on 3rd tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Good to talk to you again.
Thank you. Well, that is the driver of the 365 machine, Terry. That is Dalton Geyer finishing P3. And now after that, I believe we're ready to transition into the second half of the night.
We are ready to head over to New Hampshire again. We're getting ready to look at the NASCAR Xfinity series that will take place momentarily. And I like that we're on the theme of seafood because, well, seafood has really never, ever, ever been my favorite thing in the world, but it is seamlessly one of the worst things. As well, we got to reconnect here to our call, and my fill of seafood is over.
Let me transition the question for you here. So we're looking at the Xfinity schedule. It's New Hampshire, Pocono, Road America, Michigan, the Indy Road Course, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. Would you rather, here's our favorite question, ready? Would you rather eat seafood, or do this schedule with 4 road courses?
Yeah, I'd rather eat the seafood.
Yeah.
Not a road course guy, but you see those road courses on there. 2 weeks in a row, we will be 3 weeks in a, or yeah, 2 weeks in a row. We're on the same schedule as our counterparts on the truck series are on, and then we go completely off course with them as we'll take a look at our individual series championship points as Richard Regan Jr. starting to very slowly creep in over Abner Acosta, Zemke, Holly, Nick McLaughlin doing really good with road courses on the horizon, putting a good one with Ted Lowen, Dick Mark Kalin, Joey Tebbin. Back to pass bubbles, the wall sponge there. Jeff Evans, who is not here, he is projected to fall outside the top 10, having to miss this race with Nicholas Hunter, looking to project himself up into the 9th place position, rounding out 10th. Your team standings here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series RaceSpoke Motorsports is in a tie with What a Back Overdrive. Precision Racing Esports is 4 points back. 5 points back is Atomic Racing TNT. So that team that's right below us, doing a good job. Back row, What a Back, Car Ramrod, What a Back front row, SG Esports, Bull Creek Racing North and South back there holding it down in 9th and 10th. Only about 48 points off. Still has a chance. But we'll take a look here at our drivers on the racetrack, getting ready to take some time as there's the 41 of Doug Evans, who is putting up a time. We'll wait for our timing and scoring to give us all the data. But still, the same thing that we saw is, well, they go to the outside for lap 1.
Yeah, now what will be different here, Terry, between the trucks and the Xfinity cars, between the power of the car and just the setups involved, you have to be a little bit more careful with the throttle here on fresh tires. You can't mash it like you can out of the trucks. You will loop this car around on fresh tires until they kind of get gripped in if you get a little too throttle happy.
When you listen to the throttle right there, he very, very good entry, good center. His exit, oh, he had to burp it. Almost got loose, didn't want to catch the wall. He's going to shut that thing down. That's lap complete for the Miracle Flow 41 as there's Charles Sumner in the 98. He's going to use that outside lane to his advantage as well. Is that going to spell good for the number 98 of Charles Sumner? I would really be happy if the 98 won a race this year.
That would be a cool moment. Let me make a prediction for you. That's going to something I'm pretty confident in, and you can put your input on. We saw one driver, Dylan Schmidt, in the truck race using the apron to loosen this car up a little bit, I think. No one in the Xfinity race should ever be down there or will be down there loosening the Xfinity car. It is plenty loose all by itself.
But so far on this board, Daniel Knight.
Oh, speaking of loose, wow, look at that back end wiggle around there.
Daniel Knight holding this provisional pole for the moment over Abner Acosta, Ted Lowendick, Elliott White, and Richard Regan Jr. That's pretty good. There's Patrick Cowgill on the racetrack, and for a driver in Joey Tebbin, who was saying he was slow, he might have listened to me and started braking just a little bit earlier, going just a little bit slower on this racetrack. I know a little bit. I know a little bit.
You know, I've also learned in both our broadcast chats and our post-race chats we have with Mr. Tebbin that I think Mr. Tebbin's definition of slow isn't really slow. Like he's pretty modest, which is a cool thing usually. But I think Joey's idea of slow is like P10, not like, P30. I think he's kind of faking us out a little bit, Terry, to be honest with you.
Or Mike Knight.
Oh, that's not
a time lap, but that was a good chunk into the wall. Hopefully he didn't do that in the race. And we'll take a look at Nicholas Hunter in the 109. He's
that
completed
is a beautiful
both.
Paint scheme. I don't know if I've noticed that before. Look at that Hot Wheels style water back, but that is a nice look right there.
It's a nice Kyle Petty scheme all the way back in the day with the Hot Wheels, as he's going to practice pit road entry, thinking that we're going to go green all the way through this thing. But we talked about road course wise in the season. No surprise to see that road course drivers succeed here at New Hampshire, which I find it entertaining that I run decent here in open races at New Hampshire because I'm not a road guy, but short tracks are normally where I'm decent at. But it's good to see that our field's starting to climb together just a little bit. And, well,
And in fact, from this camera shot here, Terry, I almost forgot your name. That's weird. You can see the road course right there. This place has a 1.6 mile road course. It's really underused on the iRacing service, in my opinion. But you can see it just at the top of the shot there. The road on the right there. Thanks, Dustin, for going away from that. Would have been the entrance, and the one on the left is the exit back on track. They go outside the track to make that road course work.
I'd be curious to see the road course come into play as we take a look at our starting lineup. Daniel Knight gets pole position. Abner Acosta, Ted Lowendick, Elliott White, Richard Regan Jr., and Joey Tebbin, your top 6.
Picking up a P7 here with Adam Zimke in the 57, with Reese Bogue, last week's winner on outside on the 8. Thomas Sink and Nick McLaughlin round out your top 10. And then Matt Gagnon with that fancy photo. And then Brett Karakoff round out your top 12.
Go back there to 13th with Patrick Cowgill. Danny, I can't find my glasses. Cervantes, Colton Lane, Doug, Grandpa Evans, Nick Byer. And then you got Jim Westerfield back there as well, rounding out the top 18.
Yeah, Nicholas Hunter with Charles Sumner on the outside over there in 20th. Chad Kibbe and Chris Justice in 22nd. 23rd is Jeremy Bailey, and then 24th is Mike Knight, who we saw on the wall just a second ago.
Jacob Emery, Mark Kayla not setting a time, Mike Witt, Ryan O'Connor. Almost positive that 26th, 27th, and 28th were all on the do not qualify list. But Jacob Emery rounding out your final qualifying spot at Bull Creek Racing North. We'll see if he can drive up there in the number 20 machine. That's a look top to bottom of your 28 starters. And hey, there's the rest of the road course.
There it is. I know we've seen this track in iRacing used a few times, I think, for IMSA, as a just kind of a one-off track, but it's really an underused road course. Maybe you and I can start a campaign to get it used in PRL next season.
I'm already hated in the iRacing servers. You know,
I've heard actually.
I'm hated. I'm hated quite a bit in this platform.
I'm just saying, maybe of course, all week in RaceSpot you can see PRL. Monday night is an incredible LMP3 GT4 class. Wouldn't it be great to see 50 cars going through that road course, Terry?
I think we would be very much hated, but if we're starting a petition, I'm all for it. I would love to see. I would love to see personally
not driving it, just see it.
No, I'm not driving it. I think I'm good, but I would love to see a series just run the Rovals. That is, NASCAR road courses.
Indy,
Hampshire, Daytona,
Phoenix.
Like I know when people say Daytona, they're like, oh, the 24. Well, that's a Roval. I hate to tell you, and can't argue that one. That's what it is. But we're going to race on the oval, and who knows? Maybe somebody will get fancy and want to run the oval. Pace cars down. Daniel Knight is in control of this field. Green flags in the air. We're racing for the Xfinity Series. See here, still got a lot of issues going on there. Is everybody trying to get a position or two? Is it still side by side all throughout the field? Abner Acosta looking to take your race lead. Daniel Knight's going to kind of brake check just a little bit there of the 27 of Elliott White, and that's Precision Racing Esports 2 and 3 at the moment, but the drag race is going on there.
Good fun note about Abner Acosta. He and I had a chance to talk during the transition to races. He says he has never run a race in the Xfinity car at New Hampshire before, so he does not know what to expect. He was just happy to qualify up front and hopefully be out of the messes that happen.
Yeah, a lot of mess going on back here.
Me, by the way, I just want to point that as talented as Abner Acosta is, and active as he is, the fact he's never run a race here in the Xfinity car, or the B car as we call it, That's a surprise to me, honestly.
It is surprising. Oh, car around in the back. That's Mike Witt. No caution. He's off the racing surface. So
once he rejoins safely, we'll be good.
it would be okay. And potentially he's up to speed now, we hear in our ear. But new race leader, Abner Acosta. Daniel Knight sits in second. Mike Witt back there in the back having some problems. We've got Charles Sumner in the 15 door-to-door there. That's Nick Byer. We come up here, there's action everywhere. Brett Karakoff, Nick McLaughlin fighting it out. Danny Cervantes, Thomas Sink putting it all on. It's crazy.
Remember in the beginning of the broadcast before the truck race, I said the race is like a super speedway, and of course it does. You know how you know that? Because once again this week, you got Abner Acosta and Elliott White up there in the front of the field, just like last week in Atlanta, Terry.
Yeah, this could be one of those wild-ish cards. A lot of drivers said that they had a good run going for him. There goes Daniel Knight. He's looking for the race lead again. He goes to the middle lane. Abner goes to the outside. Not going to clear himself this time by, but he is the race leader. So that lap led here. We'll see if he can clear into one. He does. So new race leader. And then here comes Richard Regan Jr. He's the point leader coming into this race. He's on the back bumper of that 5 as the caution flag is out. Oh, that's the 57 of Zemke around.
It's definitely pointed the wrong way there. Great job being patient. We'll get the car turned around. So far as we can see, this is a single car incident, Terry. I'm guessing he got some help going around, though. We'll have to wait and see what happened to him here. Well, caution number 1. Now, the notes I got from a couple drivers, including Richard Regan, talked about tire saving and tires being the name of the game tonight. I know we're only 4 minutes in, but hold on a second. Hold that thought. We're going to come out of the corner here. Oh, just got help. Couldn't tell who that was. Who's that black and green car? But he got some help getting around there.
Nick McLaughlin got in that as well.
I was going to say, I know we're only 4 minutes in, Terry. But does anyone, maybe someone in the back, maybe even try tires on? Maybe not.
There's a lot happening.
There's someone.
That's Karakoff.
Karakoff.
That's weird.
I think there's that conversation I had with a couple of drivers about how they think tires are important. And listen, you made the note at the beginning of the season. This series is not known for its number of cautions. This series is known for tight racing, rough racing, respectful racing, but not a lot of cautions. And so if you get, there's some damage there, I think, but if you get a chance to put tires in a car, maybe you have to take them. And what do you have to lose? If you're in the back of the field here, Terry, if you're 20th on back, what do you have to lose?
I would say you have nothing to lose at this moment. And he has damage. Mike Witt came down pit road there as well.
He'll have damage to fix, of course, because of his incident off the track in that Dale Jr. Hellman's machine.
You see here it's your race leader. And
so I have a question for you. And you did this series last year, and of course you're still have some friends within Whataback, and we can talk about this as we go green or under the next caution. This is only one of 2 races where the schedules line up. This week and next week, New Hampshire and Pocono. Does that help the team practice at all? Because everyone's at the same place, everyone's kind of focused on the same track. Does it make the practice more focused, or does that not really come into play when you're practicing as a team?
That's a loaded-ish question, because when you're thinking about practice, the moment the race ends, you're thinking about the next week. I don't think there was one race that we did last season that they wasn't already pushing us into the next week. Bradley Holly was instantly in my ear yelling at me, telling me that I needed to race, that I needed to pay attention, and that I needed to do more practice. And it is true. And the crazy part about it is well, you got to do it. You got to do it every single time. as the pace car is going to come down, a lot of these drivers are going to get ready to race at Pocono because it's only the third time I think we went to Pocono in the Xfinity Series. Daniel Knight holds it just like our initial green flag, except Richard Regan Jr. is there. We're wrecking already. Our caution flag's out. The 52 and the 32 and the 95. Ryan O'Connor, Jeremy Bailey, Chris Justice, all involved here.
These are the restarts that are tough, Terry, when you're back in the middle of the field, because it doesn't take much to cause a wreck. And that sounds silly and it sounds simplified at the same time, but this one missed gear by someone, even someone up in 8th place or 7th place, that far up can cause it. Let's see what's going to happen. They're in the back of the screen. Look at that yellow car in the back on your right side. Well, someone came down. Someone spun the tires. That's the 52. Either he spun the tires or he got help. I'm not sure which yet. You saw something different than I saw, but that 52 shot down, Terry.
It's hard to judge on that one because New Hampshire is a very easy place to spin the tires.
Yep.
Even on a 2-lap race, you could probably burn your tires and get a little bit crazier than what you want. So we'll take a look on board here.
Let's tell us what happened here. Let's see if there's any contact. Yep, there it is. He got help. I don't know whose car that was. I was on board the 20, but Jacob Emery, pardon me. But yeah, there could have been a checkup in front of them, to be fair to Jacob Emery. We saw a very limited view of that, Terry. But yeah, that's what happens here. A checkup, a missed gear, anything. And that accordion is back so fast at a short track that that's what makes those starts. That's why Abner Acosta wanted to start up front to avoid moments like that, Terry.
Well, and I never got that opportunity last season, but you're right. Starting up front, you don't want to start in the back. If you're in the back, you put yourself in a bad spot. So this shows it here.
Yeah, so that's just how crazy it gets here. You know, and of course that happened very fast, so it didn't really give Abner Acosta the chance to make that move on Daniel Knight like he did in the first start. But now, to the benefit of Daniel Knight, who, by the way, is not a driver we've really talked about that I can recall this season, Terry. He's getting really fast practice and really like on-the-job training, if you will, about how to manage these restarts. This is maybe the best news for Daniel Knight in a weird way, that he gets practices at restarts in this style.
Yeah, and for Daniel Knight, I mean, I would say, and this is my opinion might be wrong.
That's happened before.
Yep, he might not like my opinion, but this is a great opportunity for him to win. And with cautions coming out constantly, it could eliminate that pit stop. Because all we're doing is burning time. Minute 4, minute 7 is what a time around here is. So we do this for 2 or 3 laps. Cautions keep coming out. We continuously see issues.
Now, here's the flip side to the cautions. Even if you're not involved, Terry, as a driver, they can really frustrate the heck out of you. Like, even if you are Daniel Knight, even if you are Abner Acosta or Richard Regan Jr., who's up in top 3, you can get frustrated. Oh man, why can't these guys get it together? Why do they have to wreck all the time? And that can get in your head, weirdly enough. And then you can make a silly mistake because you're kind of in your head and you're not focused like you were if we were green flag racing.
Well, hopefully he doesn't get into his head here. It would be 39-ish minutes on the dot. Is what we're going to get here as the pace car comes down. We'll see if we can get some green flag laps in. Starting to stack up there. Green flags in the air, and that was an awful restart from the outside lane of Abner Acosta. That's going to allow Reese Bogue to the inside for 3rd. That's going to put us 3 wide. Back there, Ted Lowendick. They're all on top of each other as there goes Sink, Calgill, Lane, all within a half a second of each other, or within a tenth. A piece of paper will separate these drivers around this racetrack. Is, hey, we got a green flag lap then.
Tell you what, for Chebin and Lowendick, those guys are teammates, Terry. That's not, you don't want to find yourself 3 wide with a teammate. Although in a weird way, maybe you do, because you're in the same voice chat, so maybe that's helpful. But no, I don't want to be 3 wide with a teammate start at any kind of restart at New Hampshire.
What you see right here, Colton Lane to the outside for the P11 spot. That's going to be Calgill Lane fighting it out. You got Jim Westerfield, Gagnon, all right there, trying to get a little bit more position with Beyer. Gagnon all sitting there about 12th, 11th on back. The thing that's kind of catching me the most is there was a fight for the lead, and Richard Regan Jr. takes it. He took the race lead against Daniel Knight and starting to stretch it out 0.2 of a second.
That's what I was going to mention on too. We have a new leader here. Richard Regan got around Daniel Knight and Abner Acosta. He restarted 3rd. He has made the move to the front here. You know, Richard Regan was one of the biggest proponents in my talk tonight about saying, hey, new tires are slick, and I'm not real confident about that. You know, he's like, I want to get the tires worn in. So that might be the benefit of that 3rd restart, is you've had a chance to warm the tires, you've gotten a little bit of use of them, and now here you are. You know, the tires are probably a little more normal, quote unquote, than what they were before.
As normal as they'll ever get, right? But you see there, Knight starting to reel Richard back in, not necessarily letting him step out and get that big of a run. But there's Reese Bogue in the 4, starting to pressure the 5. Not numerical, obviously, because, you know, 5 is not before 4. I think my counting is good for that one.
Guys, if we're the Terry Radford does math part of the night, you might want to go get some popcorn, you know, something, because it's going to be a long night.
Yeah. It's been a long night for me.
It has been a long night for both of us. But listen, we are almost to that point, Terry, of being single file up and down the track here. We got a side-by-side battle back there in the back of that shot. But look at the Evenese guys. Ooh, almost 3 wide, though. Never mind. There's that Hot Wheels style machine we talked about a second ago, that Whataback paint. With a 109 making a move.
And those fresh tires for the 11 of Karakov starting to come into a factor. You see the 68 as well, Mike Knight. Starting to come up here. And Karakov 1 lap down. That's an interesting note of how he got a lap down. He's gonna have to fight really hard here to pray for a caution, and if his luck kind of goes the way it's been going all season long, the caution flag will not wave for him. But he is the first car 1 lap. Ryan O'Connor in the 95 is second to that one. But Colton Lane almost brought the caution out, slideways off the corner, off of 4.
Yeah, and if you're someone who's watching, maybe a family member or a relative or a friend or whatever of a driver, and you don't do iRacing, the best way I can explain to you what happened there, if we in the broadcast can see that car wiggle out of the turn like that, it was about 22 times worse for the driver of that 60 machine. If we can see it, that was a massive wiggle out of that corner.
Here's a fight right here. That's Charles Sumner and Mark Kalin going at it for the 16th position. Mark in a new-ish paint scheme here for Miracle Flow, and I still like my Miracle Flow. It'll be hopefully on my 87 car tomorrow for the Firecracker 400 prelims. That I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but it will be on E-Racer is where that one's going to be at. You can catch it over there. But yeah, that's where that one will be sitting.
Listen, I have a lot of respect for the admins of PRL, so I'm saying this jokingly, but if you're Mark Kalin, the last person you want to battle and bump in a battle is the race admin in Charles Sumner. I wouldn't do that, but no, those guys are great guys. They run a fair league, you know, and whatnot. But this has really turned into a nice race. Things have calmed down. Now the question that everyone's going to start to process in their head and the mental calculators are burning, Terry, is when are we going to put tires on? I don't think with the way the tires react here in the Xfinity car at New Hampshire, I don't think the call is to not pit. You're going to have to pit at some point if we say green here and put tires on it.
I agree with that. Teammates starting to fight with each other. Doug Evans, Mark Kalin back here for the 15th position. Doug trying to hold the outside lane. Not going to be able to do it there as Mark Kalin's going to slide up in front. We go back one spot. Nicholas Hunter, Charles Sumner fighting out. That's for 17th. See if that Hot Wheels 109 can get around the Tropicana machine. Got a hold serve there in 17th. Battle for the race leads not active. See it right here. Battle for second. Starting to heat up a little bit as there's Abner Acosta. He's going to take a peek to the inside. Derek, but they're not letting Richard get away. They're keeping him honest.
They are keeping him honest, and the best way they can do that for now, Terry, is racing single file. If Abner Acosta and Daniel Knight find themselves in a lap-long or two-lap-long side-by-side battle, then Richard Regan will just sort of wave goodbye, hold on by. But as long as they can stay single file and keep him honest, then they can find a way to make a move if they can save tires better than him.
I wouldn't put tires in the conversation with the old with the old Abner Acosta right there, because Abner Acosta is absolutely, and I mean absolutely, the best tire saver out there. As there's the 66 of Nick McLaughlin getting washed up just a little bit there by Thomas Sink. That's gonna let Sink get underneath and take that position away to put him in the P9 spot. But Patrick Cowgill up here in his rookie season in the Xfinity Series, having a very solid run there in 11th. They're early on, 31 minutes to go.
Yep, so we're almost 20 minutes into this 50-minute race. That's how this race will end, is on the clock. From now, we're going to see Abner get here under Daniel Knight and try to make that run. Now he wash up here. Almost a slide job, not exactly. But then Abner got it loose and wiggled it after he got back on the throttle there, Terry.
Yeah, Abner Acosta, the tire wizard, is hopefully teaching Elliott White some things about tire wizardry as he gets underneath Reese Bogue here for that fourth place position. It does look familiar as there's the Bogue over the Reeses trying to hold off. And Reese actually joined me in my fun run that I put on last Friday's door-to-door. Little contact was made, and Reese ran a little bit Talladega in the Xfinity Series cars, or in the Truck Series, I'd say. Had a little bit of fun. $75 was on the line. The next one we're going to do will not be this Friday, but next Friday. We'll put that fun run on 60 drivers. Everybody's open to no entry fee, and it'll be for the community. Hopefully anybody who wants to come out and join us will. We'll put the vote on again, but Bogue washes up. Elliott White's going to get the run. That's allowing Danny Cervantes to get the run right there, hoping to get a little contact.
Compared to last week, where Bogue decided to kind of set behind White at the end of the race and waited to make his move. Now they're side by side, and both are hoping that the other one budges here. But as you said, the more you race side by side, a couple things happen, Terry. One, neither one of these guys are running their line that they want to run. Both are probably braking harder than they typically would if they were in a single file. And so they look at it. There's Cervantes. There's other people behind him now who are catching up quickly because of the side-by-side battle.
Yeah, once you get side-by-side here, it does start to let everybody creep back in because it slows you down to where you can't get the run off the exit of the corner. But you see it there. Elliott gets the run in the center, but the exit goes to Reese. So he can't match the throttle. He did, and Elliott kind of washed up just a little bit, but that's really the big key here is if you get to somebody's outside, you have the advantage because it doesn't let them on the bottom get in the throttle. It lets them get in the throttle on exit or in the center, but off exit it doesn't. It's Tebben tried to cross Danny Cervantes up there and almost lost it behind him.
See, this is the battle, by the way, for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, maybe, all here together. Maybe even 10th in the back of the shot. That's, Patrick Cowgill, pardon me, back in 10th. So a lot of battling going on here. But so far, Daniel Knight has fallen back. If we can go back to the front of the field for a second, about 1.7 seconds back. But Abner Acosta in second is trying his best to keep up with Richard Regan. As you said, Abner's one of the best in the league at saving tires. So if this does stay green, maybe you give a small ticket advantage to Abner.
Well, that time by, we'll look at the lap times here. It's a 32.311 to a 32.365. So give that advantage, that time, to Richard Regan Jr. Just take a look back here with Jim Westerfield, Matt Gagnon, the 66 of McLaughlin, who makes contact with Gagnon right there. Just a lot of battling going on around this racetrack. And from our early 2 cautions that we saw in this race, it's been green ever since. We've been able to complete a good bit of laps, and this battle between Bogue and Elliott has calmed down. That battle for 4th it doesn't look to be over anytime soon, as there's a little contact in the center of the corner. Elliott White wants to go. Yeah, he wants to go.
But I don't think it's calmed down. I think there's 2 separate things altogether here. This would be a great shot here into this corner. Watch Elliott White here. I'm gonna try to get up under him. And that was not going to stick, so a great job by Elliott White there to get under Bogue, but then back out of it. There's no point in wrecking a race car with 27 minutes to go just to maybe make a pass that probably wouldn't stick in the first place. All right, Terry. Well, we're coming up about 2 minutes from halfway. Of course, we had the couple of cautions to start. So what are you thinking, right around the 20-minute mark? Oh, hold on. Is that McLaughlin? That is McLaughlin on pit road. This is a little earlier than I thought we would see someone come down pit road. I was thinking, what, the 20-minute mark was my guess.
I would come in probably around, I would say lap 40 to 45-ish. I'm coming down. That would be the strategy I would go with as well.
So just for those who can't see, you finish your thought. We're in lap 38 currently.
Yeah. Minute-wise, I wouldn't put a minute time on it, as Elliott White is going to get past Reese Bogue right here for that 4th place spot. Wonder how Reese is going to fight him as Danny Cervantes gets back in front of Joey Tebbin. Joey's going to try to go to the outside here. He's going to wash up the track just a little bit, but does he get the run off the exit, or does it allow Ted Lowendick to get inside of him? No, he's going to get a really good run. He's going to have to look to the inside. Oh, Danny's blocking.
That is a curious move.
And he's going to get under Reese.
He's not going to make it stick either, but that is a curious move to do some real IndyCar style blocking on lap 40 of this race. 25 minutes left. I don't know what you're doing, what you think you're gaining by putting someone behind or keeping someone behind you. And he's going to come down pit road here. Nope. All right, that's turn 2. I saw the line there, but that's even worse. What do you?
Oh, contact. On. Yeah.
That's,
caution flag's going to wave for that one, and
that's inexcusable. That's I know. I'll be the blunt one. I know you said in the past that Danny Cervantes has a reputation, and that's why you have a reputation. That's inexcusable racing.
I don't even think we need to see a replay of that one. I will veto that one of the replay not being shown. That's.
Say what? If you want to know why you have a reputation of being an aggressive driver, call Mr. Hedge and get yourself a picture of that right there. And that's why you have a reputation of being an aggressive driver. You can see that in beautiful 8K resolution to find out why you have a reputation.
And that is Mr. Hedge Photography, is where you can find that one. And yeah, that is that messed up strategy for a lot of drivers. Nick McLaughlin, Brett Karakoff, who was hoping to come out here and be on a decent strategy, but that's going to allow Nick McLaughlin to get the wave around, or the free pass. I'm sorry, he'll get the free pass on this caution. That'll put him tail into the longest line. And you know, it's crazy that we have drivers at our disposal because one of the drivers is at our disposal, is Joey Tebben. And Tebben, that was, I will use Derek's words, where he said that was inexcusable on the 25's part. Walk me through that wreck.
I mean, I could see that coming because I was trying to get to the outside of Danny, and he kind of had the open wheel mindset of my corner. If I'm on the inside, you better get all the way to the outside of me to make the move, which I guess I respect. But I was all the way to the outside of him there. He left me, I'd say about 99% of a car's width. Unfortunately, he probably should have left me about 105% of a car's width, and he wouldn't have turned himself. But I got 0.2 seconds of repairs, and he's wrecked, so his own fault.
I like this side of Joey. Can we get that side of Joey in the broadcast one day?
I mean, it speaks for itself. But I was shocked, honestly. I was kind of worried because when I saw him spun in front of me, I was like, oh, God, am I about to get damage here? But I pulled in 0.2 of a second of optional repairs. I think we got lucky there.
So listen, let's have a more serious talk and a calmer talk for a second. On the last restart, we saw you and Ted be 3 wide on the start. How does that feel to be 3 wide with a teammate?
Well,
at the start of a run?
Derek, do you remember who was on the inside of that 3 wide?
I do.
It was our old buddy Danny Cervantes. I saw him behind me, and obviously I know Danny's aggressive. I knew he was going to send it in there. So I was like, you know what, Danny? I don't feel like getting wrecked right now. You can have this position. You can go forward. And then me and Ted just figured things out after that. So it all worked out.
I thought you said you was slow, by the way.
So did I. I was shocked. I felt incompetent in practice. I was like, where's the speed going to come? And then suddenly I qualified 6th. I don't know how that happened.
I told you, Terry, that Joey Tebben slow is not the same as slow. It's just
it's not an R slow definition.
Well, Ted Lowendick as well, my teammate, he qualified 3rd. It's incredible.
So in this one, it is slow as fast at New Hampshire. So I just thought I would tell you.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
We are 1 to go, Mr. Tebben.
Pace car's out, Tebben.
All right. I'm going to go say hi to my teammates again. Hopefully.
There you go.
Let's cut him out. Let's cut him out. But I guess from the driver's perspective too, which is good that it's me and you up here calling these races, is I agree with Joey. If you put yourself in that type of position, you're gonna put yourself in a bad spot, and I nowhere else for Joey to go. Danny had his spot. He's wrecked. Joey's back on the racetrack, sitting in the 6th place position. But the pace car sedan pulls down. Richard Beacon Jr., Abner Acosta, Daniel Knight, Elliott White, Reese Bogue, your top 5. Green flags in the air. We're racing once again. We'll see right here. Can Abner clear Daniel Knight? Daniel's been fast on new tires. We'll see if he can bring that speed up and get to the front, get to the lead with 20 minutes to go.
So remember the storyline here, Terry, as we talked about, is how some of these drivers feel about brand new tires on this racetrack. They'll tell you that it's easy to loop this car around by getting down on the throttle on new tires. So these first couple of laps are the biggest question mark, and where someone could gain a spot or lose a spot here. Oh,
and we're wrecking. There we go. Oh, and that's Abner Knight
and
White.
Daniel Knight. Yep.
Oh, Mark Kalin in it as well. That's a wreck in front of the field that took out 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and I believe
more, I think.
Yeah, I believe he was sitting just a little bit further back. Was Mark Kalin, who was just inside the top 10, just took out a ton of competitors, and that is tough. It puts Reese Bogue 1-2, by the way.
It does put Reese, but it puts Tebben 3rd.
It does put Tebben 3rd.
Now, here's what I think happened, and we'll see the replay in a moment here when we get it queued up. I suspect Daniel Knight probably just dug into that corner a little deep and a little fast, and that car just washed out. I don't think that's intentional. I don't think there's any, malice meant. Maybe a little inexperience of being up front here. Let's see it again. And Abner to the outside. You're going to have Daniel Knight on the inside. Oh, maybe actually, I don't know. Maybe Abner came down and made the contact, Terry. I thought Daniel maybe just washed up from getting too much speed in the corner, but I think Abner sort of, I don't know.
I think that's once again meeting in the middle. which put him in a bad spot. You'll take a look right here. Oh yeah, he came up.
I think it's more. Oh, this is Elliott White. I'm pretty sure right here. We're looking through Elliott White. So you go from having two Precision Racing Esports teammates in the top 3 to back wherever they are now. That's gonna be a rough night for that team. On pit road is where they are, in fact, getting some damage repaired.
They find themselves 18th and 19th.
But that is a massive shakeup to the race order, Terry.
Yeah, that puts RaceSpotTV, who was fighting for a 5th place position there on the restart, puts him 2nd. Teb and Sink. Knight actually kept a top 5. So, you still have Knight there. He didn't gain a whole lot of damage there to bring down onto the pit lane. But that shakes up a ton as Lowen, Dick, Gagnon, Cowgill, Lane, Westerfield, your top 10. The pace lights are still on. We're going to take a look here at Daniel Knight on this replay and just kind of see what transpired from his port.
Man, it just looks like
I think that's Abner came down. Yeah.
I think Abner comes down. Yeah,
he saved it though.
I mean, so the difference you try to look at it is you look at, Daniel Knight did not drift from a line. Obviously, he's going to have to turn because he's, in a corner, what you do. But he didn't move up. I think Abner just got a little too aggressive with moving up. Maybe he thought Daniel was going to pull into that corner more. Let's do a super slow-mo. Let's do something new and different. That's what we've been doing tonight, shaking it up. Come down to the corner. Oh, him at the video, not me.
Yeah, he gets to his line.
Look at that, already turning in.
Yeah, Abner starts turning, and Daniel's actually trying to go lower. Yeah, that's Abner. That's Abner. That's on Abner on this one.
And listen, that's probably just Abner's inexperience with this car. I mean, yeah, as you said, this is his first race in this Xfinity car at this track. I have a lot of respect for Abner, a very talented driver who doesn't make that kind of mistake very often, Terry.
Yeah, he doesn't. Abner is really good in any discipline of motorsports he races in. No matter what car you put Abner Acosta in, he finds his way to the front. He figures it out really, really fast, and it's just a racing deal. He missed it. He didn't think that Daniel was going to be right there, and Abner took the heat. He took the blunt of it. Abner definitely took a lot of the beating, as Abner's going to find himself 24th. No laps down, but he's definitely going to have to rebound with a good bit of damage to that number 5 machine. The same thing goes for Elliott White. Wrong place, wrong time. In the 27, he's 25th. So 2 Precision Racing Esports drivers back in the back of the field. The pace car is going to dip down. It is all RaceSpotTV Motorsports 1 and 2. Last week's winner at Atlanta Motor Speedway to the outside. Green flags in the air from Barney the Flag Man. We're racing once again.
And just what I thought would happen right there on this restart, Terry, compared to the rest of them.
Joey's getting...
I think Joey was turning himself in that car there, but I was going to say, what happened there, by the way, real quick, was that Regan got a big jump and made room for Bogue to get single file. There is no battle between teammates.
Yeah, they don't really... they don't fight it out as hard, but you looked right there. Thomas Sink is up there fighting for a 5th place spot. There's Colton Lane. And here comes Matt Gagnon. Matt having a really good run here at the Magic Mile, trying to make a little bit of magic happen as 3 wide back in the mid pack is, hey, there's Danny Cervantes trying to make it again. We're almost wrecking. Oh, Brett, hang on to it, Karikoff. He does. He's in the wall though. But hang on to it there. There's Mike Witt down there on the bottom. Karikoff trying to hold this together. There goes Mike Knight. Oh, they're still trying to wreck.
So listen, here's what's happening inside the car here for all these guys. This track looks super wide from these camera shots being provided by Dustin Ollis and the producers from here at RaceSpot. But when you're in the car, it's not, right? And any single mistake you make is amplified by other cars around you, by how narrow the track is, by the nerves and the tension going on. And it's so easy to make a silly mistake like that. And then, wow, that was a really tight 1 or 2 laps of just waiting for that wreck to happen, basically.
It felt like there for a second that they were attempting to just wreck each other. in every single one of these in every one of these events. But you take a look back here, what transpired with this, and we go back up here to your top 4. There's no battle for the lead. Richard is stepping away. We're coming to 13.5 minutes to go here in the race 4 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Precision Racing League. They're on iRacing. Good segue with the iRacing billboard. I like it. But now we go back here to Patrick Cowgill. He's fighting it out with Gagnon. That's for a 6th place position. A lot of surprising runs. This is not the top 10 I think we were expecting to see in this portion of the race.
Well, and we'll go through it in a couple minutes, Terry. This is not the top 10 that we came into with points, right? There's a couple guys up here, but there's a couple guys well out of it at the same time. So once again, this will shake up your points here. This is the oval portion of the season, if you will, for this schedule. And so if you want to have a chance at this title, maybe you need to exceed at this part of the schedule, because those road courses are just wild cards. And I think it's where you have to be great, and that's what Richard Regan is doing in this moment. Here's Joey Tebben, by the way. We're on board with the 06 machine, fighting to the outside of Daniel Knight.
Trying to get a position from the driver of Tommy's Pub's machine. We were always curious about the pub of Tommy's, and there he goes to the outside, running a traditional-ish, non-traditional line there in the 06, trying to get to the outside of Knight. Reese Bogue's right there as well. This fight for second just went three cars deep. We'll see if the 06 can get around the 17 and the 4. As Thomas Sink's having another great run there in the top 5. Getting better and better every single week. Thomas is just doing a marvelous job this season. But what a really good job this fight has put on for us. We're under 12 minutes to go now.
Back there, you see a car that suffered through the damage at night. You see that bent up back fender of that vehicle. Now we see the 88 try to get up there. And this really is an incredible track in my mind, Terry, because it is a short track. There's not that much time between corners, and it has that short track feel of washing up in the corners and having to kind of move someone. But it's fast, and that allows for two-wide racing that's competitive. Try to do the same move at Martinsville, and what would happen to the 88 at Martinsville is he would fall back like 10 spots because he got to the outside lane at Martinsville, compared to a New Hampshire where you can still be competitive and try to race on the outside lane here.
You could be competitive in multiple different grooves. You can go to the apron, as we saw in the Truck Series. You can go all the way up there where Daniel Knight's running now to get the sweeping portion of this corner in. You can go all the way to the middle. You can go wherever you want. As look at the run down the back straightaway, side by side into turns 3 and 4. Daniel Knight's going to look to the inside of Reese Bogue. Bogue's going to wash up the track just a little bit, trying to get the run down the front straightaway. But Daniel's going to stay with him here. He gets the run. Now Reese starts to pull a little bit. He still has a quarter panel there. Can he drive it deeper into the corner? Yes, just a little bit of rubbing on the doors. This is a good fight for second as Daniel Knight's gonna clear.
Someone in the back just
Joey's gonna get loose. Yeah, Joey saved it, but he got loose there. Crossover for second. Oh, he's in him.
One of the things that's really surprised me throughout the night, Terry, at this track is the drivers are willing to make that. Look at Joey, who's going to set up the pass and try to get Daniel Knight on the outside here at New Hampshire. That is a move that I'm still trying to process in my head. Typically at a short track, New Hampshire, Bristol, Martinsville, any of those places, you want to make your passes on the inside, but these guys are trying to show dominance tonight and show that they're the alpha by just, going in the outside and making that pass.
Well, the outside lane in New Hampshire is, in my opinion, the way to go. It is the tire-saving portion, and 2 notable names we're missing here tonight. Jeff Evans and Bradley Holly are not here tonight. Jeff is away. Not sure what Brad's doing, but there's a side-by-side battle for the 12th place position. Danny Cervantes, Colton Lane, former teammates with each other. Now I guess I could say rivals, but they're not. It's Bogue versus Whatabag. So RaceSpoke Motorsports is where Danny has found out. And he's found a lot more speed over there. He's always been a bit aggressive, but that's what makes Danny Danny. I like that about him. The aggressiveness always seems to figure it out as he's going to go into the 12th place position and try to chase down Charles Sumner, who is having a good run. Even with damage on the back of that 98, Charles is still there in contention for a top 10 here tonight. As there's the battle back here behind him. That's the battle for 13th. Doug Evans, Chad Kibbe. Look at Kibbe. We hadn't talked about him either. He's trying to fight up here to be inside the top 15 pretty solidly, as Colton's going to get the run on the outside on Doug Evans, and that's teammates fighting it out.
His teammates fighting out. In fact, we saw the 23 have a bit of a wall rub there before that corner. That's some smoke there. What's that? 60 is tapping the wall, so I think we're okay here. But a beautiful pass here where the 23 is now going to get inside the 41 and complete that pass. But man, this race has calmed down a lot, Terry. It feels like the drivers kind of got that aggression out, and now we're ready just to kind of race and salvage a run here. The points racing is the name of the game here. This is a 10-week season. You get one drop week, and you have to think maybe for Abner Acosta or Elliott White. That's what you're looking at. But I think Elliott White has already used, let me look at the points. I think Elliott White's kind of already used his drop for the season, Terry.
Yeah, I think he's used his drop for the season when he didn't compete in a race. But the battle for the lead is non-existent. It's 2.7 to make it 2.8 seconds with 7 minutes to go. It's a battle for second between Bogue, Tebben, Knight, Sink. Your top five is converged their way all the way to the second place position, trying to steal away from last week's winner in Reese Bogue, the number 4. I like where Reese has been at this season, catching a win, finally getting it, and then putting himself into position here for a solid top 3 position. But he hadn't run all the races, so for Reese, he's not in position. He's not in position for a championship, but he could help the team win the overall team championship.
It's not impossible. Let's take a look. So the first week, he got a 0. He did not race in week 1. Week 2, he scored 29 points. And in week 3, of course, last week, he won. So 40. He currently sits, what is he sit? 13th in points. So, I mean, it's not impossible. The problem is Richard Regan is dominating. So let's look at the top 5 in points coming into tonight as this race goes on here. It's going to be Richard Regan first. He had a 9-point lead over Abner Acosta, who's towards the back. Adam Zimke was in 3rd. Bradley Holly was in 4th, who said's not here. And then Nick McLaughlin, was in 5th. And he is currently somewhere down the board in 16th. So realistically, this is a good night for Richard Regan. If I was Richard Regan, I'd just back it up a little bit. Don't push too hard. Don't try to gain your lead, because you're going to walk out of here with even a bigger point margin than what you came in with. Finish that top 10 real quick. Ted Lowendick in 6th, Kalen in 7th, Joey Tebben in 8th. He'll have a good points tonight. Jeff Evans in 9th, who I think is not here as well, and then Nicholas Hunter was 10th.
And Nick Hunter's having a good run in 10th to match his points race, and Thomas Sink just got around Daniel Knight. The long run does not seem to be the game for the number 17 machine, as he has lost 4 from where he started. It's +4 for Richard, +6 for Reese. 3 and 5, and then obviously you have to have a loser somewhere in there as well. Well, right now it is Daniel Knight who has fallen down our Christmas tree of sorts, and the rest of the top 10 minus Ted Lowendick has all gained to work their way into the top 10 with your biggest mover right now being a tie between Westerfield and Hunter, +9 with Charles Sumner as well. So triple nines back there from 9th, 10th, and 11th. We look right here, Lowendick, Patrick Cowgill, and Matt Gagnon all fighting it out with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
And no disrespect to Hunter or Sumner when I say this, but a lot of that +9 is from the art of wreck avoidance, Terry, which is an art, by the way. It's not just luck. There's a lot of skill that goes into wreck avoidance, about where do you go, how patient are you, and that's what can lead to good points nights like that, is that wreck avoidance. There's been a couple wrecks they were behind, they had to find their way around.
I would rather be lucky than good any day of the week. And you take a look right here at what could be a very solid race for Ted Lowendick as he's going to get to the back bumper of the 14 of Matt Gagnon. That's through turns 1 and 2, going down the back straightaway. We'll come to about 3 minutes and 20-ish seconds when Richard Regan Jr. crosses the start-finish line. There is no fight for the race lead. That is all Richard. The 56 is attempting to win race number, I believe that would be race number 2 of the season for him if he gets this race win. But it'll be race win number 3 for RaceSpoke Motorsports, which would further extend their points lead and actually get them a decent running, as it's a 1-2 spot right at this moment. But the battle's about to be for second. It's about a 1/10 of a second between Bogue and Tebben, as you see them right here coming to under 2 minutes to go.
I'm sure most of our viewers know we have a lot of fun with Joey Tebben because he is one of our fellow Race Spot family members. You'll hear him calling some races from time to time in the booth. Be a lot of fun with him, but man, he is in a potential spot to come out of this race the top 5 in points. How insufferable is Joey Tebben going to be if he finishes the season like top 3 in points?
Well, he definitely rubs it in after every broadcast on Wednesday nights that he.
Yeah, if you guys want to hear the real talk, you should be here after we turn the mics off and you hear Tebben and Lowendick come in here and make fun of us for how we broadcast. That's the real talk.
I think Joey's going to make fun of me about how I raced last season, but I couldn't catch a break. I just couldn't. I couldn't catch one. I figured it out at the end. But 2 minutes to go for our race leader, Richard Regan Jr. The fight sits right here for second. That's Bogue and Tebben. We saw Tebben get to the outside of Cervantes before. Got put up in the wall. Danny went around. Can he get to the outside of Bogue? Does Bogue put up too much of a fight knowing that he's not in a race for a championship? But I'm sure he wants that top 2 finish. He wants to get Reese Bogue 1-2 as there he is. Tebben's to the outside there in the entry of turn 1. Can't make it stick through the corner. They're going to have the back straightaway.
A little loose there. Even if he can't make the championship himself, he's thinking team points, Terry. He's thinking what can he do for RaceSpoke Motorsports? And a lot is the answer to that question. A 1-2 finish tonight will be a strong statement by that team in this series.
Should have 3 laps to go. We'll come to 2 laps when we come back next time by. Maybe 3 laps to go. Fight still sitting here for second. It's a 3.5 second lead all the way up to your race leader. They're trying different lines here. Tebben went to the bottom. Bogue went to the middle. We've seen those 6 run the outside. This time they both are going to run the outside lane. That's going to put them caution flags out. This race is official.
That is it. Richard Regan will be your race winner with Bogue and Tebben. Will come around, I think, maybe one more time. I would think the timer would have been right there, but we'll have to find out from official scoring here. Still waiting to find the wreck and see what it was. We'll find it in a moment, but this race is official, Terry. And so for the second time this season, Richard Regan will win. And I think, for the 3rd time this season, that'll be a win for their team, right?
Yeah, it'd be the 3rd win for RaceSpoke Motorsports.
3rd in a row? Just stat checking.
It would be the 3rd win, not in a row, because Abner broke that party up in race number 2. Yeah, he broke that party up, but we'll take the white flag this time by. But yeah, season opener was won by Richard. Race 2 by Abner. Race 3, Reese Bogue. Race 4, it's going to go to the number 56 of Richard Regan Jr. But not the top 10 we thought we would see coming into this race. Wreck avoidance, skill, luck, whatever you want to call it. It was a really fun race. Anticlimactic for the back-to-back one here at New Hampshire because Alan Dice won under the caution flag. And we'll take a look right here at what brought this one. It might have been the 66 of Nick McLaughlin. Yes.
Got door tagged. I was like, oh, there. I'm surprised that's a caution, if you want to be honest about it. I mean, it was sideways, but all right.
Well, and for the second time this season, through turns 3 and 4. Very slowly to the start-finish line. Richard Regan Jr., race win number 2 on the season to extend his points lead with Reese Bogue, Joey Tebben. Your top 3. We'll talk to all of our we'll talk to all of our top 3 finishers here momentarily after we go over our race results. Richard Regan Jr. gets the win. Reese Bogue, Joey Tebben, Thomas Sink, Daniel Knight, your pole sitter, falls back to 5th. Matt Gagnon, Ted Lowendick, Jim Westerfield, Patrick Cowgill, and Nicholas Hunter, your top 10.
Pick up P11 Charles Sumner, with Danny Cervantes finishing in 12th. Chad Kibbe in 13th. Elliott White made his way up to 14th. Colton Lane in 15th. Abner Acosta in 16th. Brett Karakoff in 17th. Then Mike Witt, Doug Evans, and Mark Kalin round out your top 20.
Go back here to the rest of the field. Adam Zemke, Chris Justice, Mike Knight, Nick McLaughlin, Jacob Emery back there in 25th. Ryan O'Connor, Nick Byer, and Jeremy Bailey, your 28-car field. Richard Regan Jr. sets the fast lap. He gets that extra point. Clean sweep with a 31.110, and we'll wait for all of our peoples to join. And, well, we have one at our disposal. We'll go ahead and just catch up with third place. We'll go bottom to top this time.
Let's do it.
Joey Tebben, congratulations on your P3 here this afternoon. You said you didn't have speed, but you figured it out, and wreck avoidance, I would say.
I mean, I shouldn't have been third, but the seas parted. They didn't part last week in that big wreck at Atlanta, but this time, Knight and Abner took each other out straight through the hole, and the rest is history.
We go to Pocono next week, and I don't want to ask you if you're slow there because you might surprise us and win the thing.
I mean, I don't even know. Pocono is still technically my home track, so I'm always still a fan of it. I haven't run it in so long, though. I ran it in the trucks when I first got iRacing all those years ago. I'm sure I've run some Xfinity races there, but basically every track this season is a mystery, so we'll see how it goes. Oh, Nick Hunter's driving backwards. That's fun.
I got to ask you the great Pocono question, and our friends over at FTF posed this question: how many turns does Pocono have?
Somewhere between 3 and 100.
I like
Because
it.
technically, if we're talking mathematically, how many degrees is it? So it's it's got to be less than 180 degrees, but it's a lot of degrees.
I like it. That puts it out there. But congratulations on your top 3 here tonight. And
Thank you, sir.
Anybody you want to say hello to?
Well, I got to thank the old teammates, Ted and Nick. Tom is on my mind because I'm sure you saw on that restart, I kind of shoved Tom out of the way accidentally. I was actually going to give him the spot back at the end of the race. If it didn't go under green, I would have given it back to him, but alas.
That's it.
Oh, I did hear our producer say, "You're watching me." I think he wanted me to run full throttle into the scene of the burnouts there.
We're currently slow-mo. We're currently slow-mo watching you move.
I
Thomas.
see. I get it now. But yeah, I was too late in the brakes. I was going to give him the spot back, but the caution came out, so I couldn't do that. But at least, I guess we're even, because Tom wrecked me under caution in Atlanta last week. Maybe that's how I defend it.
I like it. Well, congratulations on P3. We'll boot you out of here to your normal
Gracias.
little home over there. It's
going
Joey
down.
Tebben, number 3 on the track, but number 1 in our hearts. We'll grab Reese Bogue, and he's going to stand by with Derek Watson.
Reese, you're becoming a natural in the booth here. A win last week and a P2 this week. Walk me through the race. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I was trying to be aggressive. I didn't mean to hit Adam in the beginning. He says I run him like every week, but I'm normally really never around him that much, so I don't know what he's talking about or referring to there. But I mean, it is what it is, and I tried to apologize to him. I didn't mean to do that, and then at the end there with Daniel, I don't know, we just got a little aggressive. I didn't mean to once again driving him, but I was just plowing tight. So partially my fault with Adam. I'm not sure about Daniel, but I mean, overall, good race and good job, Rich and all the RBM boys.
All right, well, that's the 3rd win on the season for your team. So good job there. Obviously, you missed the first week. You didn't run well the second week. So what are your hopes for points at the end of the season?
So
I know we got the win last week, and I'm not 100% sure where that puts me in points, or if I'm locked in the playoffs, or what the deal is there. But we'll see. I may or may not be there next week. I don't know. Plan was to run some races this year, have some fun, and just kind of go with the flow. If we're going for points and maybe going for a championship, we'll see. But I don't know. We'll see. This overall situation is just kind of crazy, real life right now. So we'll see what happens for this league in upcoming weeks, and yeah, we'll go from there.
I'll have to ask you, I guess, a couple questions to finish up here. I got 2 questions for you. One, of course, here the winners of the race get a lobster when they win. So, do you like seafood?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I like lobster, crab, scallops, whatever.
I have to ask you, steamed or boiled, or do you care?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I mean, lobster's lobster,
There you
but
go.
I'd probably say
Right
steamed.
All right, fair enough. Well, listen, good job on the P2 tonight. Oh, I have one more question for you. Next week we're at Pocono, so I have to ask you. This is a controversy going across iRacing. How many corners are at Pocono?
I would personally say 3. I mean, technically there's 6 if that's what you want to call it, but I would say 3.
6 is a different answer. Okay, some people say 5, but I guess 6 is an answer. All right. Well, listen, good job tonight. Anyone you want to say hello to?
Yeah, thank you, and yeah, thank you for your racing setups, RBM. Good job, guys, tonight, and my mom and dad. Talk to you guys soon.
Well, he is Reese Bogue, the driver of the 4 machine, and he finished 2nd tonight, Terry.
Awesome sauce. Looks like we're going to catch up with our winner, Richard Regan Jr. Pull him up here. Richard, congratulations. Your 2nd win of the season and a 1-2 run there for you and Reese Bogue for the team. I kind of want to ask you about the comms. You know, have you ever had a conversation with Danny about, calming down a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I have had a conversation with Danny about calming down, but I mean, we are all aggressive at Regan Bogue Motorsports, so I'm not going to withhold my drivers from driving how they want to drive. I mean, obviously, if it's something catastrophic that's really embarrassing, then that's a little bit different. But Danny, I don't really see a problem 90% of the time about what Danny does. So yeah, no, Danny's good.
I had to get the ownership question out of there since your name, starts the team. But you get win number 2, and this is back-to-back for your team with Reese winning last week, you winning this week. We go to Pocono next week in the Tricky Triangle or the Tricky 5-corner track. I don't know. I lost count of corners. Do you think you got a good opportunity to go back-to-back and get win number 3 next week?
For sure. I do like Pocono. I feel like our 2.5 mile package is pretty good right now, especially Pocono is really fun in this car because this car is usually pretty tight and we got a lot of horsepower. So going 200 mile an hour down the straightaway and having to slow down to like 140 for turn 1 is always fun. The tunnel turn's really fun. Always sideways. Going to be a lot of tire management next week, and it's pretty much, I don't know, hopefully we can repeat what we did tonight, but instead of Danny wrecking again, Danny can actually get a good finish.
Good ending on that one. But man, your team's on a roll. You're looking pretty stout to go out there and win the championship again. You put a big points lead down with Abner having a bad run back there in 16th. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just touch base on that points thing real quick. I'm not holding my breath yet. The last 2 weeks, well, 3 weeks really, because even Chicago with the P2 there, it's definitely helped my cause to go back to back. But we still got a couple road courses coming up, and we finished the season off at Daytona. So, if Abner keeps having bad luck, then it'll be a little bit different story, but I'm sure his luck will turn around soon. And yeah, let me give a shout out to everyone at Regan Bogue Motorsports, Brett Karikoff for sure. That dude's had horrendous luck this season, and he's in prime position to be a top 5 contender week in and week out. Nick Byer, Reese Bogue, everyone at Dirty South Racing, Multiple Sclerosis Society, Neonism Paints. Need a paint, go to facebook.com/Neonism. Tell them the PRL sent you. Mission 22. Everybody at RaceSpot and PRL.
I appreciate you, and stay down there in the waiting for interview. I have a question about something at the end of the race, but congratulations on your win, Richard. I'll talk to you here in just about 20 seconds. Let's wrap this show up. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Derek, you get your final thoughts about the Magic Mile before we go to the Tricky Triangle.
The Magic Mile was honestly cleaner than I expected. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some upset drivers coming out of this. We heard it during the broadcast, but I think we have some good racing. And I think next week we're in for some fast racing at Pocono.
Hell, had it with the Magic Mile. You see right there in your lower portion of the screen, Pocono next week for the Trucks and Xfinity Series. We do start our coverage at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. The Truckers will get going for 40 minutes before we kick it on over for the Xfinity Series for 50. You can join the same time, same place for the broadcast tonight. My name is Terry Radford, Derek Watson, Dustin Ollis with us. Don't forget, all week long, PRL action Sunday through Thursday. We'll see you then.